Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up. It's me, Ross Aiken, again. How y'all doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever day it is that you're listening to this, now, tomorrow, or the far future, or if you're a wacky time travelist, who knows. But we're going to cover a single issue again. I wanted to do this one because I know, for two reasons. One, I noticed I misnumbered my episode, so there was an episode 5. There is a 5 in this issue number, and I took it as a sign that we would discuss first Avenger comic, the first team comic I had ever read. I don't know if this is true, if it is actually the first one I ever had my hot little hands on, but it is the one I bonded to where this team became one of my big four. Let's say big four. To be fair, I'm going to do a rating of my top super teams. That's an episode that's coming up. All right, thank you. Me rambling to you has allowed me to decide that. But this comic is Avengers 105. It is the November 1972 cover date. It came out August 8th, 1972, when I would have been about 8 years old. And I'm assuming it came out in August of 72. We were headed cross country or somewhere. Either we're headed to Pennsylvania from California, or from Pennsylvania back to Northern Virginia. And my brother gave me a comic, my brother Huey, to shut me up. And he handed me a comic book. And to say it influenced my love of superhero books, it would be an understatement. It is the cornerstone of why I like certain things. It is this Superboy 107. And for Justice Society and Justice League, it is the it's the Crisis on Earth X with the Freedom Fighters. So these are kind of the three big deals. But we're going to talk about Avengers 105. Okay. Title is In the Beginning Was the World Within. Written by Steve Englehart. Penciler John Buscema. Inker Jim Mooney. Colorist uncredited. Letterer John Costanza. Editor Roy Thomas. To think that the first superhero book that I ever read was written by Steve Englehart says so much, because his era on Avengers, from this issue through 150, when his arc was done, his section was done, it is such an important era of Avengers for me. It is something I've revisited. And inside the middle of that is the return of Swordsman, the introduction of Manus, the Celestial Madonna affair, the Serpent Crown affair. This is tying up an arc that started with Phantom Stranger, Grim Reaper, the Sentinels, and is a shift in the book from Roy to Steve. And there's one other arc I'm not remembering. But it's the re-heroing of Swordsman. It's such a good era, and Swordsman is one of those characters that, I really fell in love. And this is, I think, because Hawkeye coming back is maybe why I bonded on Hawkeye in this, because Hawkeye's he's been around, but he leaves in this era, so he wasn't really an Avenger. And I think I kind of liked when I went back and learned Avenger stuff, I latched onto Hawkeye. But this is an era I love. Let's give you the roll call. It is the Avengers. It's Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, Tony Stark version, Hawkeye, Clint Barton version, Black Panther, T'Challa. He's rejoining the team after a short absence. Thor, the original, one and only, and the Vision. Guest cast is Lady Sif. I don't know if this is something that Roy put in. Roy liked to have guest heroes, and then they would or would not become members after a time. Maybe they were test driving Lady Sif, but there's some action in the background of this that is kind of like this is very continuity era, heavy era. So the Thor had an adventure. The Warriors 3 and Sif are staying at the mansion. So Sif goes on this. We have the Savage Land mutates, Barbarous, Lupo, Gaza, Equibulus, Amphibious, Brainchild, and Laura Lee. These are from an X-Men story that took place in the Savage Land, where this story takes place. Leftover. Guest cast, Quicksilver. He is mentioned. He has gone missing. This is right after this. They have just battled the Sentinels in Australia, and Quicksilver goes missing. This is leading up to his exiting the book for a very long time. This is when he really steps back after being in the book on and off since issue 16, that he really becomes a secondary character, and he really doesn't rejoin the team until the 90s. Don't quote me on that. But you have Fendral, Tana Lee, Hogan, Silas Grant, Daredevil, Cap, Shield, all these people in the background. They mention Kazar. this ties up, because this is a continuity error. This is tying up this is using stuff that had happened in Daredevil, because Black Panther is a friend of Daredevil, who is a friend of Kazar. Hence, they know each other. It's very much that superhero. Oh, I knew you through. It's 6 degrees of separation through the next hero. It's an era. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear back once you hear this. Let me know what your kind of first. If you read this era of Avengers, I'm 57 years old, so I've a lot. I'm a little young for this era. This is a little before, and I really do think, the Avengers in the 130s through 140s is where I started reading it every issue, and then I went back. My brother had all the Celestial Madonna stuff, and we went back and I read that. So, but let's get into it. And I've got the book in my hand. I'm reading this in Avengers Epic Collection, Volume 6, 1972-1973, A Traitor Stalks Among Us, which has of the cover where the Swordsman and Manus come. It's a nice cover. This is beautiful. John Buscema and Jim Mooney art. I'm not the biggest Jim Mooney fan. I mean, I'm not. He drew a lot of Supergirl. It's okay. It's just not something that strikes me. But he's a good inker, John. He's no Tom Palmer, but it's a good inking. But it starts with them assembling. They're worried about Quicksilver. Scarlet Witch gets a head up that he might be something happening in Chile. So the Black Panthers return. So the lineup. Oh, and the Vision comes back from Marvel Team Up number 5. See, continuity heavy. So these Avengers all go somewhere in Chile. A cave entrance is sealed. They blast it open into this tunnel that leads them to the Shadowland. They're attacked by mutates. They're attacked by some some local residents of the Savage Land, and they are scared off by the Thor. And they find the wreckage of where the Magneto and his mutates battled the X-Men. They even find a costume that the Angel only once or twice, I don't know. It may have been his original non-uniform, the team, everybody match uniform in Solo. And then they battle the mutates. And it's a 70s comic. There's a lot more going on. It's like 4 pages of battle, 5, 6, I'm counting them. 7 pages till they're knocked out. They're battling, and the leader of the mutates, Equilibrius, goes and gets Lorelei, and she hypnotizes the men, and it works on the Vision. And the Vision says this, because this is all the build-up to the Scarlet Witch Vision romance, which is their romance is going to lead to Quicksilver leaving. We're going to get to see a little more. I mean, Quicksilver is kind of a hothead and a bad guy in this, as it was his traditional default personality, but he is straight up bigoted toward his sister dating what he considers a machine, the Vision. So, but this is leading up to it, and he won't talk to Scarlet Witch because in the issues prior to this, he has been and given a device that he has in his hand at the end of the book by the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper knows that the Vision's mental patterns are based on the brainwave pattern of Simon Williams, his dead brother Wonder Man, and he has offered the Vision the Wonder Man's body, and it's all a ploy by the Grim Reaper and the Space Phantom to destroy the Avengers. It's a great arc. It is one I had never read until years later. I'd read this single issue, and then years later my brother had put together the other issues, and I sat down and I read. It's when I finally got my copy of 100. I kind of went back and I went, I've read this, the Kree-Skrull War, but I hadn't read the Kree-Skrull War except for this issue until we get to the Celestial Madonna stuff. So I went back and I read pretty much 98 through 150 again in a sitting, and I probably did it in a week. But that's this arc, and it's great because the next issue has got, they're kind of jumping from artists. There's even an issue written by Harlan Ellison. The next issue is George Tuska and Rick Buckler, the pencilers, and it's inked by Dave Cockrum. It's gorgeous. But this issue, it's a simple story. It's very much the Marvel Super Team Roy model is you have a long arc, but every issue you have something. You could read a single issue and have an adventure. And this one, you have that single adventure. It is just they go looking for Quicksilver. It's not where he is, but they end up going on a mission. They battle somebody. The lineup changes. This is an era where people would come and go, to show up as they didn't do these big resets, and then the whole team would reform. They didn't. I don't think between 16 and 150. They don't do an old Ortis changes issue, which become more and more common. They'd only done it twice up through 150 was the second time. So people would just come and go, people would join but not stick around, like Black Knight, Hercules, Black Knight, and Black Widow. And you have the kind of last one of those you really, really have is Moondragon and Hellcat, who are technically or made members in the Serpent Crown affair. But this is a beautiful, well-crafted story. It's early Steve Englehart. So whenever I thought back to it, until I forget that it's a Steve Englehart issue. Sometimes I would just go, oh, it's Much and Roy's era, right? Steve doesn't come until so-and-so, Serpent Crown. But this is when they've handed over. And Englehart's a great superhero team writer. I'm a huge fan of Englehart. He did a great run on this. He did a really great short run in Justice League. He did a great run on West Coast Avengers. He did a great run on Doc Strange with Marshall Rogers. He also did a great run of Detective Comics with Marshall Rogers. And he did Silver Surfer with Marshall Rogers. It's just, he's an amazing comic writer. Check out his stuff. But this is a fun one and done. And I think it is, I still own the copy my brother gave me. It's one of the few comics from my youth that I still have. And whenever I've downsized my collection, I've kept that and the Adventure 247 I found in the dime box at an old comic shop. They're important. So this one is fun. Go out and read it. I know I jump around and, it's 2022. Why is this guy, one, other than being old, talking about a comic from 1972? Because they're good. They were fun. I think comics are fun today, but it's a different version of storytelling. So it's I find it, as someone who's still reading the Avengers, I just got the latest issue by Jason Aaron, and it's amazing. I do like this run, and I've liked almost every run of Avengers. The 90s are rough for me. The 90s are rough, but I still read it. And I've gone back and read it because I want to give it all a chance. So give this one a chance. Get this collection. It's well worth it. I mean, this comic is also available on the app, but do look out for this one, Epic Collection Avengers, Volume 3. I also want to plug one I got, which was Hawkeye, Epic Collection Volume 1, which has his first appearance, a little bit of his next appearance in Tales of Suspense. It has a 3-issue arc from Avengers 63, 64, 65. I'm not looking at it. It's on a shelf by my Hawkeye action figures. But it's Hawkeye's secret origin but he's Goliath in this one. And then some other stuff, some team-ups, another single Avenger issue with Ant-Man, and his first 4-issue miniseries where he marries Mockingbird. Plus, the first appearance of Bobby Morse as Mockingbird from a black and white comic. It's a beautiful piece and a lot of fun. I got it because I'm a Hawkeye fan, and now it makes me I've sold off all my Hawkeye stuff by Fraction and the latest run too. I need to get those in trade because Hawkeye is my Avenger. But check out this one. It's a Trader Stalks Among Us. I'd love to hear what your take on this is, and you can shoot me a message via Twitter at JSA4E. That is JS, the number 4, the letter E. Or you can get me at my email address, traitken@gmail.com. Or you can also follow me on my other 2 podcasts, Gallifrey's Most Wanted at Gallifrey MW Pod, or The Runcible Report at Runcible Report. We do 2 different Doctor Who shows, and I've got some special interviews coming up and some stuff, and me and Vic are about to start our next batch through. We're going to start our next episode is about the first Doctor's adventure, the top of season 2, Planet of the Giants. So if you like very old Doctor Who, give that a listen. But until then, folks, do me a favor. Stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, and go read some comics, okay?